Yeah, we're live and we're recording.
Cool.
Okay, everybody. Welcome to Blue Cobra Peeps. And I'd like to introduce a couple people. Is we have Larry Tate. That's my son. It says Judy Tate, but he says it's his wife's computer, but he might whip out a wig here pretty quick.
Never know, right? Change things
Yeah,
up a little bit.
yeah.
How's it going, everybody? Larry.
And then we have down here is Richard Williams. He's our guest tonight. So, anyway, the first thing we need to do is I have to give you a disclaimer. Disclaimer: we are not doctors, or are we healthcare professionals. We're not offering any healthcare advice. Before trying any new medicine, check with your doctor or healthcare professional. The following is a panel made up of people who are using CBD. The common link that they share is all the people are using Blue Cobra CBD. This is the only requirement for being on the panel. The Blue Cobra Peeps. And I'm Howard Hitt. I'm the creator and owner of Blue Cobra CBD. So with that, we can go ahead and get started. So, Richard, tell us something about yourself, and you can go in a little detail if you'd like.
All righty. Hello, everyone. Richard Williams. Grew up in Chicago, inner city, and had a few bumps along the way growing up. Didn't really grow up until I got almost to 29. Let's put it that way. But you know, life takes some major turns. Fallen down many times financially and stuff, but you still got to get up and keep moving. So, but was working for a company, and I mean, I could go into more detail on stuff, but my growing up was if you came from the suburbs, probably the complete opposite. But I mean, there's still misery in the suburbs and in the city, but we all get funneled through, and you know, was working as a union carpenter downtown Chicago, and in '08 left to go to or 10 left to go to North Dakota, Willis, North Dakota. That's where the money was, and I've always heard follow the money. There's no money to be made in Chicago at that time. Then that's where I moved to. So stayed there for a while. My kids came up, made a bundle of money up there. I mean, but they work you, 2 weeks at a time, 12 hours a day, 2 weeks at a time, and then you get a week off. So I enjoyed myself tremendously, made a bundle, left, was going to go back to union carpentry in Chicago, but life took a different turn. Went to work for a company traveling around the country, remodeling Starbucks, McDonald's, and other fast food chains. But then one day I had my shoulder where I pulled, my rotator cuff ended up messing up in Indiana. And so I went up to Wisconsin because I had property up there, and I was going to stay there and recuperate. But then I took some medicine for a toothache, and it reacted really crazy because I was short of breath. I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe it was from the surgery, on the rotator cuff, and that's what they said, that they thought maybe it was a blood clot or something. But that's whenever, I mean, this was like 3 weeks after I just had the rotator cuff surgery, with hardly any sleep. Anybody who's had it, they know that you can't sleep for the first about a week and a half.
Yeah.
And then after that 3 week, I went in there and they did some tests, and that's whenever they found the cancer. And it's like, okay, man, you know what? Strike one, I get it. Strike two, I get it. Let's keep third strike away, you know? And so that's whenever I got, went to a few different places, got booted out of, basically she told me to leave Wisconsin because the doctors there aren't enough of them and there's a big turnover. So I ended up going down to Chicago. My sister still lives there, so I went there, and then I was going to have to either get an apartment, but my sister said, just stay here. Let's get this taken care of. And you know what? I mean, I tried CBD oil and all that kind of stuff before, but I never really understood because if it doesn't have a major impact where I feel something, I don't understand it, you know?
Sure.
And it worked perfect, but I still don't understand it because I need to feel something, you know? No feelings, but I need to feel something. But so I just kind of bypassed a lot of that stuff because I didn't know it, you know, what it actually did.
Yeah.
And so taking the medicine, and then I had that bad reaction a few months ago, the beginning of around January. And I was taking the medicine, prednisone and Zytiga, not Zytiga, one of them. I've been on a few of them. And but the prednisone, I guess, is what really started messing me up because prednisone, it can mess with your hips. And if you take too much of it over a period of time, and they have a lot of hip replacements because of that medication. And so I didn't know that, you know, but until it's like I couldn't hardly walk, I couldn't get out of bed, and then my back started hurting and everything. And I mean, I was for about a week and a half stuck inside my trailer trying to get out, you know, and it was the worst time of my life, worse. And even though I grew up in misery, I didn't know it though, you know. Now I know it. Now I know what it is, and that was misery. And that's whenever I got Kevin. Howard knows Kevin.
Yeah. Well, he was on the show a couple of shows ago.
Oh, okay. And so he came over. We were talking about that and everything, and but he gave me the fenbendazole and CBD oil, and he said you gotta start taking this with the vitamins and getting off of that medicine, because you know what, I have a habit of just stopping everything and saying screw it, you know. I mean, I actually, believe it or not, I've been pretty well blessed with a decent immune system because I'd never get sick or never get the flu or anything. If I get it, it's probably maybe once every 5-6 years or something like that.
Wow.
But like I said, I don't get sick, so I just get cancer, you know. But you know, so Kevin kind of guided me a little bit in the beginning, gave me Howard's number to get some CBD oil, and it's really obviously it's working because like I said, I don't understand stuff that I don't feel or inside me that, you know, like, okay,
Right.
maybe buzz or something like that, you know. I get it, you know. But obviously the stuff and everything is working because like I said, I went to see the doctor Friday and I haven't taken any medication for the last 2 months. Well, no, hold on. They got me back on the prednisone and stuff like that, but I drastically cut it in half for 1 week. And then the second week is whenever I went down from the 2 pills to 1 pill to half a pill through that whole week. And they says, you can't do that. I said, well, I did, because they said you should have been about a month to 6 weeks to get off that stuff.
Yeah.
And but that's what I do. You know, I I get something in my head, and it's like, you know what? I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I live with my consequences, and and you know, there's some of them that you wish you never did, but it's not worth the grief or the memory to hold on to that stuff. I had to learn how to let go of all kinds of stuff, you know, years ago, and it's worked pretty darn good, you know,
Good.
with people, because as much as sometimes I don't like to talk or communicate, I know that I have to, because in my head, it's a bad neighborhood to be in. You don't want to be in my head, I'll tell you that. You know? So, so I have to work through a lot of stuff, and things have been going good because I have a lot of people now that I'm surrounding myself with, that I can talk to, share stuff. I can listen to them. You know, it just opens up another channel in my life, which I need a lot of channels. But I mean, I look, I'm not that broken or what. I may be, okay, but
Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
You know,
we all could be broken. Who knows?
yeah, but I try. I do my best to always be positive, and always look at the bright side of it, and eliminate the misery in my head as soon as possible, because that does nothing for me. You know, all it does is stop me, and
Yeah.
that's what I learned, that if I keep dwelling on stuff, you have no time for you or what you want to do. So I'm real happy that I got a hold of people, because I retired whenever I had the cancer 4 years ago. And heck, you know what? They say that, because I went in at stage 4, because it already metastasized, prostate cancer
Wow.
metastasized to my spine and bones and stuff like that. And
So
I'm
where
taking,
did it start? In your liver?
no, it started in my what did I say that I had? I had prostate.
Oh, prostate. Okay.
Yeah, and
Wow.
but it metastasized to my bones and everything, and you know, I mean, I beforehand I felt, you know, the bones a little achy and stuff like that,
Sure.
but really thought it was just me overworking myself, you know,
Yeah.
and but obviously, you know, that's a sign that I didn't know about, because I never even really considered cancer as
Yeah.
a as something that was going to attack me, you know. But then again, I was eating like crap, you know. So anytime you're eating lousy, your immune system gets down, and who knows, you know.
Sure.
So I ended up. Where was I going? But as I said, you know what? I was real happy to get a hold of people that could help me and guide me. And they were there timely,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And,
No, I understand that.
yeah. And it's like, I mean, because sometimes everybody feels like they're in the wilderness and they're all by themselves.
Yeah.
And I know people who don't even want to say that they have cancer.
Yeah. No.
And it's like, you know, it's like, listen, I learned years ago I had to be an open book.
Yeah.
I may not like the open book, but the open book allows me to be clear-headed, especially after all this medicine that I was on. Because, like I said, my back is messed up. I have herniated disc in my back from work and stuff like that. So uh, I'm happy with what I have, not what what I think I should feel like or be like.
Yeah.
Because that was a hard one to overcome too with that kind of stuff. But
Sure.
But I retired 4 years and I went on the road. The hardest thing really was trying to get the treatment on the road, because I went to CT Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and I really liked the one in Illinois, and I despise the one in Phoenix. They're good, because they're going through some issues right now.
Oh, okay.
And I think a lot of it is industry wise also. I don't know. And it's like, you know what? This COVID has basically allowed the hospitals to ignore a lot of other things because they're making so much money off of it.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. That's
Yeah.
true. Very true.
And it gets me pretty frustrated whenever I'm in there, and it's like, yeah, I'm the problem because you guys aren't job, and sometimes I just don't know when to shut up either.
Yeah, well, if we have something serious, we want to be treated like, you're the most important thing that they have going on.
Yeah, and it's out there. It's like in the Phoenix area, they just whenever I went there, they gave me radiation on my front left hip, but that really didn't do a whole lot. And then the damn lady in pain management over there said, well, if you still have pain, you have a mental issue. And it's like, I swore at her and I hung up, and that was it. And never been back to that place, so like I said, they're going through some issues and stuff like that now. I wish that they were I wish that they were still viable for me to go there, but I am not. I'll never go there again.
I can associate with a lot of stuff you said. Like, I say this all the time, but when they told me I had cancer, my wife was there, but I felt like I was the only person. There was like a bubble over me or something.
Yeah.
Like you said, people don't want to say that they use the word cancer. I didn't mind that, but
right.
All of a sudden you're a different person than you were when you walked in that doctor's office.
Yeah. Well, whenever, because like I said, I went to the hospital and they did the CAT scan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dr. sat right next to me, and it's not like I'm hard of hearing or anything. Okay?
Right.
I may be a little bit, but it talks so softly that it's like, I can't even hear you.
Yeah.
I said, speak up. And he says, well, you have cancer. And I said, and I just look, I said, okay, I have cancer. And it's like, so just talk normally,
Yeah.
because I don't like that, or being real quiet. I could care less who knows,
Yeah, right, exactly. I agree 100% with that.
And
the thing is, if they start whispering, then you worry, how serious is this where they got to whisper, right?
Yeah. Well, obviously it was bad enough where I went in at stage 4, and everything else. But you know what? Once I got down into the treatment and stuff like that, which was at CTCA in Illinois, that I just said, you know what? Good. Let's get this stuff taken care of so I can get the heck out of here and get back on with life.
Right.
Because I didn't take it as a death sentence. I just took it as, hey, it's something else that's going to be in my life. Let's do it. Let's get it over with, or let's get it contained so I can go out. And then they told me to retire. I says, that's even better.
Yeah.
Now I really have a reason to get out there, So, and it's I don't know if they see too many of people like me that just say, hey, you know what, just talk to me. I don't care who. you know?
Oh, I think you're pretty accurate about that because that's the same way I told doctor. I want to know right up front. Don't candy coat it. If I need to get my affairs in order, tell me. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you know, I've always kind of lived on the edge, anyhow. You know, only since I basically got out of rehab and stuff that I have to
Sure.
learn how to go down and stuff like that. You know, and actually moving to Williston, North Dakota, did it. You know, because it's
Oh,
like
really?
nothing moves over there.
Yeah.
You know, it's all slow poke stuff. It's like being
Yeah.
down. You know, so and it's like I mean, I'd be driving around that city, white knuckle it and stuff like that, and it's like for what? You know, so
Right.
it's one day it's just like everything flowed out of me, and it's like I don't have to drive like a maniac anymore.
Right. Exactly.
So I mean, it was wonderful. I had many great blessings along the way, but like I said, up until 28, I didn't know any blessings.
Yeah.
You know, so uh, you know what, you always have ups and downs. It's just how you deal with them.
Yeah. But see, you're able to recognize that. Most people don't recognize that they have blessings.
You're right, and you know what, you can't force people to see something that they can't see.
Right.
And you know, it's like a wild horse. You know, we're all kind of wild horses, and we want to be not tamed, but we want to do what we
Yeah.
want to do until someone kind of says, hey, you know what, right now might not be a great time to be a horse, you know, a wild horse,
Right.
you know.
Any kind of horse.
Yeah, especially before that, what was it, 78, whenever we used to eat horse meat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think they do some places still, you know.
Yeah, yeah, they still do, you know. There's some places where they eat anything that moves.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I, this country is blessed, you
Yeah.
know. We just have people we have to get out of the way.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
That's quite a story, Richard. It really is.
It's an inspiring story.
Yeah, isn't it?
I didn't mean to jump in, but man, it's like,
No.
you know what it is? It's the confidence you have, man. You know, you said that, oh, you know, you should wean, you know, people need to wean off of certain stuff. You're like, nah, I'm not going to wean myself off, you know?
yeah. Well, you know, after rehab, I mean, I stopped that's whenever I stopped smoking cigarettes too. And believe it or not, that was the hardest thing to quit.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. I started smoking whenever I was about
Yeah.
8 years old.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, well, it's the neighborhood, you know, and the people you grow
Sure.
up with.
Right.
So, whenever I tried to stop smoking, this is comical, basically, because I quit cold turkey, like I do everything. Cold,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
So first night was great. Second night had a little rough. Third night, I couldn't go to sleep at all. It's like because of the nicotine and everything. It's like whenever I finally kind of calmed down, you could feel it. You know, it's like, oh yeah, oh, and all of a sudden my arm or my leg would fly. I didn't get sleep for once that started for 3 more days, and so I got through that night. And the next night I was going, and it started happening. So I said, "The heck with it! You know what? I'm going to go down to the gas station. I'm going to buy me cigarettes. This is over, man. You know."
Yeah,
But
no.
when I got down there, I said, "You know what? I really don't want to, you know," and blah blah blah. So I walked back. Basically, stayed up the night. The next night, I actually tried running to the gas station.
Uh-huh.
And found out that I couldn't even run a half a block.
Wow.
I mean, before I got into rehab, it's like if I heard keys behind me, I could run forever. Okay.
Yeah.
But now by my own self trying to run, I couldn't run. And so that inspired me to start running.
Oh yeah.
And for like 10 years, 12 years, I ran 3 to 5 miles a day.
Wow.
Until I ran into some marathon guys that tried to kick me up into running a marathon. And I totally didn't stretch properly enough. And for the whole weekend, I was doing nothing but crawling out of bed into a hot tub.
Yeah.
I mean, and it ruined my running because I didn't stretch enough, and it just took enough out of me where I said, you know what, I don't need that. You know, I could find something else to do. So exercise basically was the thing.
Wow.
You know, and but you have to be determined. Believe me, you know what? As a kid and stuff, I was determined, but I was determined in the wrong goals, you know. And once, like I said, you know what? I had to find a couple of dads to adopt me and kind of set me straight through AACA, NA, and all that stuff, you know. And they guided me, helped me out tremendously, because believe me, I needed a lot of work, you know. And but I didn't lack the confidence growing up, probably in certain areas, you know, of living right.
Sure.
You know, I probably didn't have confidence in that because I never really did it until 29 years old. You
But
know,
the thing is, you're a success story. Most people aren't, you know,
yeah,
so you need
it,
to be applauded for that, you know.
yeah. Well, I mean, everybody I know went back in, or they ended up dying. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
so I've been blessed, and you know what? I'll say it here too, because whenever I was in rehab, and I never went to church at all, never, and you know, I didn't believe in God or anything like that, and actually, I hated to even walk by churches. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And so whenever I was in, I mean, you know, it's like, hey, do I leave? Do I go back on the streets? Do I, you know, they were giving me day to day anyhow.
Sure.
And but I ended up really confused, all kinds of stuff. And you know, I went in my room. Well, first I locked, because I was 3/4 way house, and they gave us an apartment with 3 other people. And so they were all gone. I locked the door, put a chair underneath the door handle, did the same thing to the back door, took a chair into my room, closed it, put the chair up, and got down on my knees. And I just begged. I says, listen, I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing. You know, they tell me to ask you for help. Here I am. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, you know?
Wow.
And from somebody that's really confident on the streets, I was a complete loss. But within about 5 seconds, the room just literally lit up. I mean, because I was in a dark room, and it's like I could see a spider up in the corner if I wanted to, because I mean, everything just
Wow.
lit was so bright that I didn't know what was going on, you know. And I just got up and then walked away, and I don't know if that was, I don't know what the heck that was, you know, but it sure the heck wasn't me, and I asked for help, you know. And
Sure.
after that, I woke up the next day, no desire to use, no desire to drink, no desire to hurt anybody,
Wow.
or anything like that, you know. And so, and I had to share that with my sponsors and stuff like that. But it was like,
Oh yeah.
you know, I didn't want to tell anybody, to tell you the truth. because I wasn't a person that believed in God or anything, you know. But now I had to start, even though they're telling me I have to find a higher power or whatever. I actually got it, you know. Kind of scared the hell out of me a little bit, but it got to the point, and it told me basically whenever I woke up that I wasn't even thinking about any of that other stuff anymore. So like I said, I've been really blessed with the Lord whenever He did that for me. So
Well, I'm glad that you got where you're at because you got a good story to share with people, not only about Blue Cobra CBD, but your journey to get there.
yeah, well, it's been a journey since day one.
Yeah.
I mean, even the doctor hit me, you know, right
Yeah.
off the bat. You know? What the heck?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? I'm real happy with this oil. Excuse me. And I plan on using it for the rest of my life. So
Yeah, you need to. You need to keep it in your system, just seriously, you know.
yeah, well,
I believe that. I have no fact to back it up or anything, but that's what I believe. I even think if people didn't have cancer or whatever and they started taking it and kept it in their systems, they'd probably never get it. But
yeah,
then, you know, how can you say, well, I never got cancer? It must have been the oil. Who knows, right?
right, yeah. Well,
But
the
it
thing that I
had to
like
be worth
about
the
it,
gamble, you know?
yeah, and the thing that I like about it is it's made up of not stuff that I don't know, you know,
Right.
because
Yeah,
everybody else,
yeah.
all
No,
these
no. No,
people,
there's no chemicals in there. What you see on that ingredients, that's all it's ever come in contact with, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
the other stuff, they don't put it on there, but trust me, you could look on YouTube and see how they extract it.
yeah,
But the one that gets me is they have that behind about 4 inches of bulletproof explosion glass, and they're extracting it. And I'm going, yeah, this is
I
some stuff I
remember,
want to rub on my body.
yeah. Well, I remember one lady that sold me some. She said, "Oh, this is nanotechnology." Okay, I'm all for it. Give it a shot. And it's like, well, I don't feel nano.
Yeah.
Okay, so nano's out of here, man.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, you know what? Sometimes I have to go by what everybody else is doing, you know,
Sure.
because like I said, if I don't feel something, I I I I mean, even with the
Right.
cancer, okay, cancer medicine, I didn't feel anything. Was it working?
Right.
I just had to go by what the doctor said.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't want to have anything to do with any of that medicine, because it made me feel weak. My bones hurt. I was tired all the time, and they couldn't do anything for me, you know. And it's like
Wow.
sooner or later, man, I'm gonna give all this stuff up. You better start working with me here, you know.
Yeah.
So then they ended up changing me to the other medicine with the prednisone and stuff. And it's
Sure.
like,
Yeah, that's hard on your bones. I know about the prednisone.
yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah.
It's real hard on them.
You know,
yeah.
one thing that I've seen that I've noticed on these panels, these sitting with your various guests, Howard.
Yeah.
Um, that have had cancer and that have cancer. Like you said, you very first told me a long time ago that you feel alone. You know, you can be surrounded by a bunch of people, you're going to feel alone.
Yeah.
And everybody else that has had cancer pretty much has said the same thing.
Sure.
When you're feeling alone like that,
Yeah.
you really, really start getting in tune with your body.
Yeah, you do.
You
You're
start
right.
thinking about every part of
Yeah.
you. And I can imagine that, you know.
You know, when I left the clinic there, I walked out through the door and I thought, there's a lot of people that went out horizontally. And, I felt even fortunate then, like I'm walking out of here.
Mhm.
Well, you remember our doctor, Howard,
Huh?
our family doctor growing up. I mean, I remember him when I was 3, 4, 5 years old. And I know that when he got cancer, he told my mom, he says, and this has come from a doctor. He goes, the scariest thing in the world is knowing that you have something in your body you have no control over.
Yeah.
Because that is so scary, So with you experiencing roughly the same thing, Howard,
Sure.
and when you hear somebody's got cancer, you always say, it tugs at your heartstrings,
Yeah, it does.
So that's why I'm glad that you're here and listening to everybody, gaining everybody's knowledge, and putting yourself out there as a goal to help everybody, because you've
Yeah.
done that. You know what it feels like to be alone,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
like you mentioned, some people don't have cancer, and they take the oils to hopefully, not get it. Who knows if it'll be the cancer that helps them or not?
I don't know. I can't really answer
I've got
that.
cancer on my mother's side of the family, and I'm taking the oils not only to take care of my back, which is already, that's a miracle right there, but
Yeah.
It's not hurt to take it and do some preventive maintenance,
Right.
I mean, that's why you clean your engine all the time. That's why you're going for regular,
Yeah.
in your car, preventative
Right.
maintenance. That's what I'm doing, And if I do get cancer, it's like, hey, I tried this, but
Yeah. Well, maybe you won't get it as severe as
well, I'm in
I don't know.
I'm in tune with my body more than I ever have been.
Yeah.
And you were talking about quitting smoking and going cold turkey.
Yeah.
A really quick story, I when I was in the Marine Corps, that was after Desert Storm. I was like, oh, I'm going to quit smoking. I can do this, I quit cold turkey, and I would say I was good for about 2 days, man. I was running, I was like, man, this is easy. What's everybody, complaining about? And then one night I woke up like 1 o'clock in the morning. I had the worst headache in the world. I mean, I seriously thought something was wrong. Right. So after about being up for 4 or 5 hours, I went to the ER, Naval Hospital, Camp Pendleton. And the doctor goes, has anything changed in your life? I said, well, now this is 1992, I think. He says, I said, yeah, I quit smoking, proud of that. He goes, how long you smoke? I said, well, since I was like 16, 17, 18 years old. He goes, okay, well, he goes, you quit too fast. You quit cold turkey. Your body didn't want you to do that. Now you got too much oxygen going to the brain at one time. And your body's saying no. And I said, well, what'd I do? I thought he was going to put me on a program. He goes, you need to start all over. I said, so start smoking again is what you're saying. He said, yeah. I'm like, ooh, good, So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do a program, right?
Yeah.
I can't cut cold turkey, so I'm going to go ahead and taper off. So I went home, had a cigarette, and I smoked ever since, a pack a day until 2005, and that's when I seeked help. But, when a doctor tells you to start all over, it's like, okay, I'm going to listen to the doctor,
I had to have emergency surgery.
Yep.
And I woke up and the first thing I wanted a cigarette, I says, I need a cigarette. And nurse says, you're in the hospital. You can't smoke in here. And I went, well, what am I going to do? And she goes, well, the doctor can give you a patch or something. I said, no, I'm going to quit. And I was in there for 11 days.
Jeez.
And when I got out, I can identify with Richard. I told the doctor I quit, and he goes, oh, everybody says that. And I said, no, I quit. And it was on a Sunday, and I was driving along, and I went, man, I want a cigarette so bad. And I thought, I'll stop at a store, buy a pack of cigarettes, and smoke one and throw the others away. And nobody will ever know. But again, I was going back to the doctors on that Monday, and I couldn't go and lie to him. And I went, I'm going to have to ride this out. And that's when I got over the hump. you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, whenever I stopped, I mean, because I was still in rehab for all the other stuff that I was doing.
Sure.
And the one thing that they tell you is don't try to stop smoking. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that maybe in a year or 2 years down the road.
Right.
I looked at it as, why wouldn't I want to stop now? This is the best time
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I have a support system. I still have the doctors always checking me out and stuff. You know
Right.
what? I have a way of sometimes not listening to doctors and do my own stuff. You know, and that's one of the best things that I ever did was not listen to them at that time. You know,
Yeah.
and stopped. Believe me, it was the worst thing because uh, for years, whenever I'd go to sleep, uh, I'd still have a little twitch or something like this and that kind of stuff, you know. But I was still able to get to sleep, as were the first 3 to 5 days of trying to stop. It was complete misery. I don't even know how I made it, but I kept just going forward, you know.
Well, I had a period of time where afterwards people would walk past you and you could smell the smoke on them.
Oh
And
yeah,
you'd go, oh, I want a cigarette so bad. And somewhere that changed, and it's like, whoa, those people stink.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah. Well, they always say that ex-smokers are the worst, you know, because
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
smell everything like that.
But I wasn't going to be. But, I turned that way.
Yeah.
Now everybody's smoking those vape things, and so now it smells like blueberry muffins crossing.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, those
Right. Yeah.
oh, vapes. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Hey, Richard.
Well, I had one whenever I was fracking. I had some guy that, and he would haul on this thing, and we're in a truck, right?
Yeah.
Because we were hauling water and stuff at that time, and he'd blow it out and it'd be all over. And I said, "What the hell you doing, man?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I says, "Don't smoke that shit. Not while I'm in here." Oh, well, it doesn't hurt anybody. Well, first of all, it is hurting you, and I don't want it to hurt me. So if you take another hit of that, I'm going to grab it from you and I'm going to throw it out the window.
Yeah.
And he started complaining, but he put it away. And it's like,
Yeah.
listen, you know what? You can do whatever you want to your body. Just allow me to do what I want with my body. And if I don't want that stuff in my body,
Sure.
I'm not going to let you do that to me, you know? But you know what? I wanted to say one thing that I kind of forgot, and that was because, you know, a lot of people, whenever they have cancer, they try to hold their appearance as to what it used to be. You know,
Yeah.
you can't do that with cancer, you know, because talking about the wig and stuff like that, I mean, I kept seeing, I mean, while I was doing chemo, I was on my second chemo session, I think it was. But I kept seeing everybody, man, trying to hold on to their little clumps of hair.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. And it's like, you know, listen, I get it, but you have to understand that you have that's the last thing you need to be worried about. Is
Yeah.
you know, fine, cut it off. That's
Just get the clippers and just get it all rid of it.
Yeah, I went to the barber and I says, take it off. And he says, well, what left out? I said, I just said, take it off.
Yeah.
I said, I don't need the hair anymore, you know? And I says, because it's going to come off one way or the other. I just rather have it with you, you know, so I don't have to cry about this and that and everything else. And, but, you know, if they can overcome that part, it sets their mind more clear and freer to worry about the stuff that you really should be worrying about. And, you know, yeah, you can put on the makeup for the women, stuff like that, you know. Everybody understands that's gone through it. Maybe not the people, but those you shouldn't be impressing anybody anyhow. You know, you're in a fight. Some people are literally in a fight for their life.
That's right.
The last thing you need to be worrying about is a patch here and that. Just get rid of it, get a hat, and go on with life, you know, but still try to think positive. because positivity is, I believe, like 60 to 70% of the battle, you know, because if you're positive, big deal, you know.
Yeah,
You can allow a lot more stuff to roll off your back.
that's
And
right.
that, you know, and the old saying is, or at least the one that I heard is, you can't be a stick or a tree, a solid tree in a hurricane, okay? Because you'll get knocked over. You
Yeah.
have to be able to
You
sway.
got to bend, you know.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like
You know?
that. I never heard that before, and I like it. That's good.
Yeah, well, it's one of the first things I heard whenever I got out.
Really?
Yeah, and I had one of the guys take me under his wing and said, you know, you can't be so tight now, you know. And it's so I took that to heart, and it took me a long time to really figure out how to do it, like anything, you know. But if you can find those little sayings, and plus, you know what, I used to listen to a lot of music, positive music. I
Sure.
stay away from anything negative. I stayed away from country and western because I grew up with that, and I always called that suicide music. You know,
Yeah, it is. It is. You're
the
right.
old stuff,
You're right.
suicide music. So, but you know, I still today, you know, I mean, I load up my phone with nothing but positive songs, you know,
Yeah.
and I'll listen to my song all my phone all day if I'm working or if I'm doing something, you know. It keeps me out of my head.
Right.
And me in the- so however you figure out what works for you, the sooner you do it, the better.
That's right. That's right.
So, but see, a lot of people don't like searching for what makes them work because it's too much of a pain in the rear end to find out what makes you work.
Yeah.
Because you find out the good, but you also find out the bad.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So, I mean, look, there's a lot of things that I may preach and I may not always do, but I do get around to doing them because sometimes I think that I can reinvent the wall by
Right.
through the door by charging through the drywall instead of taking steps over and go, hey, there's a door there.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Oh,
You know, I think you're when you went through rehab, I think that made you a pretty strong person, you know, person that you are now. But I was curious, and I never thought about this before. Go through rehab, and which is so admirable. And then you want to try oils. With oils, you know, you got hemp, you got marijuana. You know, a lot of people don't know the difference between. Were you reluctant to get on CBD oils? Did you do some homework prior to it, or?
no, because like I said before, it's like a lot of that. If I did, I mean, I tried it, and I got nano stuff, and I got this kind of stuff, and but like I said, I didn't understand it because if I didn't feel something, I didn't understand how it was working.
yeah.
My body, you know, and that's why I had to talk to people about it and discover that I mean, the way that I grew up, it's like if I didn't feel anything, it didn't work, you know. So being able to talk to people is what really moved me forward, you know. And but it doesn't matter how I got there. It's a matter of I got there, you know. And that's what counts with me. I mean, I look, I could fall down and fail 20 times, but it doesn't mean I'm still not going to get up and try the 21st, you know. So
Good for you.
well, you know,
No, I mean seriously, that's such a healthy thing to say, actually. And you know, Larry, when you got cancer, because I see a lot of this, and that I felt the same way. You'll try anything. You know, somebody told me you got to drink a fifth of bourbon every night, that'll kill the cancer. I would do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I talk about a lot. People come to me when it's too late,
Right.
you know, and I feel like maybe I can't help them, you know. You know, it's a big hill I got to look at and try to climb up there and help them. You don't want to help everybody.
Right. Because
Well,
people are scared when they got cancer, you know.
Sure.
You know.
but you know, there's a lot of people that are just ready to die once they get it. You
Yeah,
may
that's
not,
true. No, you're right.
but you could tell by talking to them that they really don't care anymore. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't I don't get that, but I mean I do kind of get that because whenever my back was, I believe me, I was almost ready to give it up, you know,
Mhm.
but I just kept going forward with one foot in front of the other whenever I could, um, and talking to my neighbors and stuff like that. But I mean, it was so people. I mean, I think everybody comes into it with a fight, but you know, it's the size of the fight in the dog, basically, you
Yeah.
know. And it's a shame because I mean I do get it, but I try not to get it because I
Right.
really want it, you
Yeah.
know. Um, because it almost goes back to the old saying also, misery loves company, and they
Mhm.
Right.
will keep you hostage for as long as they can, you know. I don't mean to use I don't use that term basically hostage, you know. It's but they talk to you, they'll never let you go, you know, because they keep
Yeah.
talking, and you
Right.
try to talk, and it's like, well, you
Yeah.
got to. It's going to be a conversation. You got to let me in, you
Right.
know. So it's you can only help somebody that really wants to be. Well, I can't say really wants to be helped. They just have to sometimes see something that could give them that spark. And there's a lot of us that just don't have that spark
Yeah.
to give to the people. It's who it's just sometimes it's by coincidence that you'll get this piece of information, and all of a sudden it'll strike and you go, how come nobody else said that? You
Yeah.
know, it's because no one else went through that,
Yeah.
or they did, but they didn't think it was that big of a deal. You know,
Well, see, I get a lot of people that, you know, prior to them having cancer or whatever, they would go, oh no, you know, oh, you know, they think it's like they're going to get high from it or something like that, you know. And
yeah, right,
but then when they get the cancer and they're at the place where there's probably no help, then they got that panic. You could hear the fear in their voice, and it's like, I don't know if this is going to help you or not. You've waited too long.
yeah. Well, that's like I was telling you about. I have a cousin, you know, that
Oh yeah,
she brain tumors, and I mean she's got stitches from here all the way down, you know. And I tried talking to her and stuff like that before she went in. It's not like I was trying to tell her not to do it or anything, but I said, hey, here's a video, here's some information, you know, start reading and following this stuff, and follow your doctors, but look for plan B, C, D, E, F, G, whichever it is, you know,
right.
because I don't know, in my life, I've never had to deal with plan A, B, C, because by the time I got there, or finally found out that I was screwing it up, I was dealing with D, E, F, and G, you know?
Yeah, you're still on A, and you
Yeah.
now you got to deal with F and G, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's,
get that.
How do you feel now, Richard? As far as
oh,
the
I
aches,
mean,
pains, you
my,
know?
my bones feel a little achy in my arms, but otherwise, you know what? I feel a heck of a lot better. I can walk. Uh, I can actually step down and step up, where for the last 4 years, it was hard for me to do that. And now that I got off of everything, Now, you know what? This may not be a cure-all and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And I still look at, regardless of stage, whatever they want to say, stage 10. Okay. I'm looking to get 10 good years out of this body still. You know,
Good.
more comes out of it. Hey, we're happy with that.
We're going to work on that. We're going to work on that, Richard.
Darn straight, you know? So, I mean,
I'm behind that 100%, 110%, you know?
Yeah. I mean, as it is, I mean, I had, I dabbed in a little bit after rehab and stuff like that, where I got off of sugar.
Sure.
But I'll tell you what, that is so hard to maintain, because if you've been off of sugar for any amount of time, and all of a sudden you taste you eat something and you didn't know it had sugar in it, and you get sugar, you're like,
yeah, I know. I know.
You know.
You know, when I had diabetes, I controlled it at first with my diet, and I would tell people broccoli is sweet. Could you believe that? It was actually sweet. And somebody told me, well, enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
I could still taste that sweetness in certain things like that.
Well, your diabetes is almost, you know, you pretty much got that kicked in the butt now, right, Howard?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm down to pre-diabetic in the morning.
Man, gee.
I'll be getting off metformin. That's going next. And I'll be off everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The only thing I really take now is, I mean, besides the fenbendazole and the CBD and the vitamins, it's I have, because I have a CPAP machine, so I have elevated blood pressure.
Right.
So I have to take, and it's very minimal, a water pill, like 50 milligrams, and then then one that's like 50 milligrams. You know, but I want to get off of that stuff too.
Sure.
But I went through the last 2 CPAP machines to find out that was supposed to cause cancer in me too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we Larry and I both have been there with that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah.
And then I went, well, wait a minute. The cancer be longer than the immediate death you get from not using it, right? And I told doctor, I'm going to use a machine. I don't care. Yeah.
So I mean, I got another one that actually might have just came in. I've been waiting for that thing since November, my new machine to come in, you know? So it finally came in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it just hasn't gotten to me yet. I mean, it was a big ordeal, because I left Illinois and I said, okay, I'm going out to Arizona. That's where I want it shipped. Okay, get a hold of Korea once you get out there, talk to them. And then they told me, says, okay, stop calling, or if you're going to call once a month, because I just wanted to share my frustration with them a little bit, you know, which I couldn't have, you know, but it's, like I said, I'm not perfect, you know, but I finally got an email, because they told me, listen, wait until you get an email and then call us. Well, I got the email, called them, and they says, well, you should have called earlier. I says, they told me not to call. So I had to ship from Apache Junction or Gilbert, Arizona. Because I go down to Arizona now for the winter. I can't take this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, you know, North Dakota, it gets down to 70 below.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't want to be there.
No. The Chicago area, I don't even want to be in Chicago anymore. Illinois, period. Let's put it that way. They've run quite a few people out of that state, and
so you need to bust that. Is that where you hang out? Is Phoenix?
What's that?
Do you go down to the Phoenix area? Or?
Yeah, Apache Junction. There's okay. There's an Elks Lodge there that I stayed there this year. Great people down there.
Nice.
Wonderful, you know, and everybody's kind of in the same boat, you know. A lot of people have health issues, and they're out there doing what they can.
That's right. You know? Exactly. Yeah, I retired. I live down in Arizona. I moved down there just you know, be out in the open country. I'm down southern Arizona, you know, high desert type area. And you know, went down there, and my back issues started kicking my butt again. You know, like, man, you know, so the whole reason I retired early is to go down there to Arizona. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people go down there because, you know, they have health issues. And the dry air, I don't know, the openness, the serenity down there, you know, I think it's a positive thing to help people. But man, you know, just then I started doing the oils. It's like, okay, well, I could, you know,
Yeah.
down
Well, your bones
here.
and everything don't hurt as much down there during the winter, you know?
Yeah.
Because up here it's that bitter cold, and it
Yeah.
just, you're walking around like this anyhow, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, that's the first year I spent there. The year before that, I was on the side of the Saddle Mountain, which was like 30 miles past, let's say, Goodyear, which is kind of like the last of the civilization there,
Yeah.
you know, which was great because I had a nice puppy. Because like I said, you know, I like to hike. I like to go up into Montana, Idaho, and stuff like that. But they got bigger cats. They got bigger animals. And if I can't run or trip somebody up,
You just need to find somebody who's a little more gimped up than you, and you're okay, right?
yeah. But I found it's called a KBD. It's a Karelian bear dog, and that's they're
Oh,
out of
really?
fit. And so I bought one because they're known for, state of Oregon uses, or Washington I think it is, uses them to clear out beer.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, and they're only like like they're shorter than like the golden retrievers and all that stuff. So they only like come up to your less than your knee, you
Oh,
know.
wow.
But they have the fight of a bull in them, you know.
Wow.
So they're not afraid of bears, elk, cougars, anything like that. You know?
Wow. So that's what you have now? You have a dog like that?
I wish, you know what?
Oh.
50 weeks old, and I thing ran underneath my wheel.
Ah.
So I got another one on order though.
Oh,
know,
okay.
Hopefully.
Well, you'll have to come back on the Peeps and share that with us.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
And but I mean they're great dogs. They really
Oh,
are.
yeah.
Because I mean, you want to have a dog that'll protect you, but you can't have like the pit bulls,
Oh, yeah.
you know, Dobermans and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I got
So
German Shepherd, you know, and you know, I gave up my fifth wheel, but there was parks that wouldn't even let German Shepherds in.
right. Well, there's a lot of them. Anything that's
Yeah.
considered
Like aggressive, you know.
right. Anything that's considered aggressive, the Kia,
Yeah.
anything like that.
Pit
You know,
bulls,
you know. So you have to go around it and find something that looks
yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
friendly, but still has the ferociousness with it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Well,
I'm stuck with shepherds, you know.
if
they can't go there, I don't want to go.
Well, I've been looking at pounds and stuff like that, you know, but
Oh, yeah.
I like I said, I still have my desire set on still having the KBD.
Oh, yeah.
And then so this way I could get back out, and I like fishing, you know, and you can't. The last thing you want to be doing is getting startled whenever you're taking a, you know.
Yeah, you want to be fishing and be concentrating on the fishing, and something sneaks up behind you. Ooh.
Yeah.
Come here, Zeus. Come here.
Yeah, I love Howard's dog, Zeus, man.
Yeah, here. I don't know if he wants. We can get it. Come on over here. That's that. That's that. Oh, get back a little bit. There you go.
There we go.
Can you howl? You're a good boy.
That's right.
You're happy to be home.
Yeah.
Well, that's the entertainment portion, folks.
man, geez. Hey, Richard, what kind of do you use the King Cobra oil or?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just bought 3 bottles.
Yeah,
but
he did.
I like, how many comes in a case?
Oh, I never sell by a case, you know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the best I could give you is free shipping, and that's anybody that watches this.
No. I was just wondering if they like come in packs of 10.
Ever what you want, whatever you want, I'll make up for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if you had any preset,
No,
more or whatever,
no. But anybody watching here, if they put in the coupon code PEEPS to get free shipping and handling.
Yeah. Yep.
That's actually more than 10% off, you know. So that's the best I could do at this time.
No, that's huge.
Happy with it, I was
Yeah.
like future,
Yeah. So. I'm happy that you realize that you need to take it forever.
Well, you know what? Either I take this stuff forever,
yeah,
or I have to take what the doctor's giving me.
Yeah, and I don't. Crap they give you, right? I have to say it like it is.
And I told my doctor that I'm basically done with medicine,
Sure.
But he says, well, let's see what happens with this, and you better keep a mind open. And sure. I says, you know what? Right now it's closed because I want this to work.
Mm.
So actually, I have left the door closed over there.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. But doesn't mean I'm going to unless I have to. So,
right.
And I'm trying to find out something better or something where you don't feel
in here.
You feel as your body doesn't feel as bad.
Right.
And what we're doing now with the CBD and the fenbendazole is working because I like I said, I've been doing it for and I hear that you really aren't going to get any true idea of how it's going to work for at least 12 to 16 weeks.
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate, actually. You might feel effects right away, but the longer you take it, you start feeling a lot of different effects. At least I have.
Well, I connect. I have felt a difference, coming off of that crazy stuff to give you, but I know that there's more because I've been drinking a lot of water, trying to flush all that stuff out of my system. But you're still going to have residue left.
Sure.
And it's just going to take time to get rid of that stuff,
Exactly.
But in the meantime, I'm happy, which is a main ingredient of staying healthy.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're right about that too.
Yeah, and I just, it's whenever you're you're worse, that's usually whenever you really do some soul searching,
Yeah.
And I wish people wouldn't have to go through that. Heck, I believe me, I've gone through it. A lot of people do. We all try to tell you, hey, there's a door over here. You can open it up and you can walk through the other side.
Right.
But most of us refuse to go to the door. We try to plow our heads through the wall.
Yeah.
So anything that we try to tell you and try to give you guidance and stuff like that is just stuff that worked for different people, right. Because you don't know what works unless you're willing to try something different.
Yeah.
And that's why whenever Kevin came up to me and was telling me about this and the CBD and stuff like that, it was like, you know what? I've been open. I've been waiting for something to come down the pipe.
Yeah.
And it didn't take me, especially I was hurting anyhow, and it's like, yeah, you got me hook, line, and sinker, you know.
Well,
And so,
with Kevin too, he came to me with stage 4 cancer, and they were going to take his kidney out. And I told him, I says, I don't know if this will help you. But now a year later, he's cancer free.
well, yeah, and you know what? I think it is a lot of people, as you said, they come to you too late.
Yeah,
A lot of people are afraid to go against their doctors.
right.
A lot of people are afraid to do something for themselves, even though they're not sure about it. And it's like, hey, you know what? You went to the doctor and he's giving you medicine on a leap of faith.
Yeah,
Okay. You better learn to take some faith in yourself and also try to figure out what might work. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, anybody could take that time off. But then again, wait a second, hold on. I can't really say that. It's just that my belief, okay, is that if the stuff isn't really working and I'm still miserable, if you can find me something that may give me an opportunity, I'll take that 4 months and I'll try.
yeah,
And then it's like, you know what? Okay, I could always go back to something different.
right.
I may be a little worse off. I may be a little better off. I don't know.
Right.
Whenever I came in, okay, and I did research and stuff like that, they said about 4 to 5 years is the basic average life of prostate 4-stage cancer that metastasizes to spine and bones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And after 5 years, it's like one person out of how many ever, last. So it's like, okay, well, that's great, but I'm still going to ignore you.
Right.
I may have the information, but that's your information. That's not my information. And so, like I said, I listen to the doctors, but I also try to listen to my inner stuff. And don't be afraid to jump. You had to jump whenever the doctor told you. So,
Right. Exactly.
and hopefully they come to that. Like I try to tell my cousin, you know what? All you have to do is try it. You know what? You can try it while you're using your medicine.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know for sure, but I would think you'd be able to. Because I thought that's what Tippett said. Joe Tippett said he was doing it while he was still and not telling his doctor and stuff like that. Me, I just come out and say, hey, man, I'm not taking that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm a little different in the way I do things, but it works for me.
Yeah. Well, that's the important part. I told the doctors, some doctors I just choose not to tell.
Yeah, but you know what? I can also live with my consequences. So, which some people can't, because they want to live that extra day or they want to live a week or whatever. Yeah. And I believe me, I get it.
Sure.
But with cancer, you don't know. If you could step outside your house today and get run over.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No one knows. So you know what? You better take some initiative yourself and figure out what will work.
Yeah.
And I think whoever watches this you're going to be helping a lot of people. Just your words are going. I know it.
Oh yeah. There's something we should say, Larry. He's not related to us. It seems like we always end up with a bunch of relatives on here.
Right.
Maybe he is. I mean, I don't know, but we can honestly say
I'm a mutt.
Yeah, he's a mutt.
I've had people, friends, family, relatives. Man, I watched your video, and I'm going to try that. And I know it's going to help them one way or another. And I know that your words, man, very inspirational, are going to help people. just man within the past hour, man, huge, you know, and I think that is very, very cool. You know, something as simple as a YouTube video, possibly saving somebody's darn life. You know,
Sure. If you help one person, just one person, mission accomplished.
Right, exactly. Yep, one person, mission accomplished. Yeah, I think it's huge, man.
Because all it takes is one, and then there's two, and then there's four.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a snowball, really.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Or like a bunch of dominoes, you know.
Yeah. The biggest thing is, you know, is like you said, just do it. Just go out there and try it.
Yeah, I like that.
He knows their body better than than themselves. You know.
See, people are afraid to do that. That's the whole thing.
Sure.
Yep.
And they overcome those fears, but they also overcome their appearance. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that all come, you know, all if you roll it all together, man, it's like, and you open it up, you're going, you got to be kidding me! I have to do all this? No, you just one time, man. That's all, you know. And you're slowly building up a ball, and you know, you never know where that's going to lead you. But it's the first step. You have to be able to
exactly
confidently say, you know what, or maybe not even confident. Sometimes that's where the leap of faith comes in, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, and some things work for others, some things don't work for those people, you know. It's just trying.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage everybody just to try. I mean, believe me, it doesn't hurt. I mean, doctors don't have all the answers.
Right.
So, you know, it's and nothing has been written on my forehead, my date, expiration date, or anything like that.
Right.
You know, it's really up to me and me only.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Good
said,
for you, man. I applaud you, man. I applaud you.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, a lot of heartache and a lot of misery growing up, to where it's like, you know what? I learned to search for the door instead of put my head through the wall.
Yeah.
So,
Richard, I want to thank you for coming on the show, on the panel.
I appreciate you for asking me. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
What you said was so inspirational that I can't even think of stuff to say to tell you how much I appreciate it. Do you think you'd like to come back? Would you like to come back sometime?
You bet.
We'd love to have you back.
Yeah, and you can have me back anytime. And you know, I'm
okay.
For the shows and get on for Monday on YouTube.
Yeah.
And watch and everything. Yeah, it'll be fun. You know what? Because that's therapy for me. You know.
Yeah. Well.
You know, it can't be a bad word whenever you're trying to get help.
No, and you think if you, like I said, if you help one person, mission accomplished. Yeah, I think you probably help more than one person.
Yeah.
You know, because see, the thing is, these videos are going to stay up; they're not going to disappear.
Yeah. Well,
so as time goes on, more and more people will be watching them.
Yeah. Well, I used to always be afraid to have my photo on up and stuff. Where I came from and stuff. Was never in the post office or anything, but I'm just
well, now you're making us sort of wonder. I'll probably be spending some time tomorrow down the post office.
I probably still wouldn't be walking around if it was in the post office.
Okay. Larry, do you got anything you'd like to say?
No, I don't. Well, yes, I do. I always got something to say. But like I said, no, man, I'm really dark, I see on the picture. But anyway, man, Richard, I've been on these since day one. I missed one, right?
Yeah.
Videos. I missed one, unfortunately, but I watched it, and each one I get a different message from each one. You know, and everybody's got their own story, very special story. And sometimes it's like 4 people on got special stories. Main thing I get out of it is everybody just, putting down their barriers, putting down their guard, and opening themselves up to something new. And I love when people find out that once they do that and try the oils or try whatever, try something new, and success, and they're happy, and their life is happy. They're happier every day, and I'm happier every day. My wife's happier than I'm happier, of course. So I just like when everybody lets their guard down and strong, huge rewards from it, and it changes their life, man. It's like so.
Yep.
And yeah, so your story was inspirational, and thank you.
I appreciate it. It's a lot of misery went into that. Learning how to be comfortable in my soul, but and then whenever you're comfortable in your soul, look, I mean, I have ups and downs like everybody else, where I'm miserable a little bit here, but that doesn't eat away at the positivity. It eats away at the misery, my positivity. Yep. So, I appreciate it. And I don't mind talking in front of people and stuff like that, because like I said, it's therapy for me, yeah. And until you realize that you really need therapy and to talk to people, and I'm not just talking about your husband or your wife, that kind of stuff. You really need to open up to get that stuff out of you, because that sure. stuff kill you just as bad as cancer will. Yep. Yep. And people don't understand that. Like I said, if it wasn't for the rehab, I probably wouldn't even know half the stuff that I probably wouldn't even be around, because I wasn't anyhow. I'm happy that I made it out the other side. Another thing, it was like being sucked through a straw, man. But you make it out the other side, and it's the best thing in the world.
Awesome.
You just have to be willing to go through the process. I mean, I went through the process kicking and screaming, but with the rehab and stuff like that, but still made it out because I kept wanting to put one foot in front of the other. And it's like, I understand, 2-3 steps backwards, but if I had one step forward, I was only 1 or 2 steps backwards.
Right.
So it all depends the way you look at stuff. I'm not 10 feet back. I'm only 7 feet or 6 feet back.
Right. You're going to find out.
Or later, you're going to get to that. Hey, I'm square one.
Yeah.
And it's like the best feeling in the world. It's almost like being financially free.
Right.
That's like, but I'm assuming. Let's put it that way.
Here's the deal, Richard. Is because you got to that place, you're going to find out your purpose is all the people that you're going to help.
I hope what, and if they,
you got to think about that.
They can get a hold of me. They could talk to me.
Sure.
I don't really want to put my phone number out there, but if
no. They can call me and I'll screen them for you. How's that?
Yeah.
We also got the Facebook, the YouTube comments as well.
Yeah.
But keep an eye on those comments. I bet you somebody's going to be asking questions.
So in closing, I want to remind people to go to Camperman Kevin's YouTube channel and subscribe to it, because when he hits 100,000 subscribers, Blue Cobra is going to give $500 away to somebody. And cool. Just because of him coming on the show and whatever, he feels like he's not being successful And I think he told me at 100,000, he'd feel like he's a success. So I'd like to get him there. And then, it'd be nice if you subscribe to my channel and or left a comment or whatever. I really appreciate that. I appreciate Richard being here and Larry, And so we're at that point where we probably should end this or it'll become boring, I don't think so, but you know what I'm saying.
Thank you for.
I'd love to have you back, Richard. You're an inspiration. You really are.
Yeah. It was really nice meeting you too.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're all inspiration.
Yeah. Well, some people can express it better than others.
Well, it's like I said, I probably had a little bit more stage because they do all that stuff whenever you're coming out of addiction and stuff.
Oh, sure.
Try to get you up and they try to get you to communicate and talk, and so that worked good for me,
Yeah.
And it really set the stage for more positive that I learned the positive attitude and stuff like that. Look, if you got to get the books, heck, I used to read all the books years ago, man, positive thinking and stuff like that,
Sure.
Hopefully people will get that stuff,
Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing I wanted to share at the end is if you're interested in CBD oil, you can go to bluecobracbd.com and my phone number's on there and I'll post it down below and you could call me anytime and we could talk. And also, if you buy some oil or any of my products and you don't feel like it helped you or you're just satisfied in any way, I'll refund all your money plus your shipping and handling. It's like no questions asked.
Howard, do they have to send the bottle back?
No.
Nice.
They can keep it and pass it on to somebody else. May help them.
There you go.
So I guess we're done. And thank both of you. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Howard, for doing this, man.
Oh, yeah. It was my pleasure. Seriously.
And, this should be done more, but you're the first one to start doing it,
Right.
So let's try to get you expanded here so that people will be able to understand that there's somewhere to go.
Yeah.
But some people don't think that there's anywhere to go.
Well, too, and if people want to come on the panel, I'm open to that. And we don't got to talk about CBD oil. I'd like it if they're using it already or interested in it, but we could talk about whatever,
And for 5 minutes, Yeah,
everybody's got their own story or
right.
they want to share. I'm open with it.
You could also say, hey, 50 minutes of fame. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Or 60 minutes.
You're going to get more than 50, Richard.
Yeah.
Have a nice evening, you guys.
You too.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Have a good one now.
Yeah.
Bye.